Good morning, y'all, and welcome back to the channel, and welcome back to Indianapolis. You know, I have a small confession. It's not morning, it's actually afternoon. I just figured I'd address you for the morning since it's morning time where you're at. But that just keeps the theme of this video. We can't do anything on time anymore. We've actually been here in Indianapolis, Indiana for almost 2 weeks, and we haven't done a single thing. Sure, we were gonna make you guys a video of our adventures here in Indianapolis, but the more we tried to plan the video, the more we realized we didn't really want to shoot a video of our adventures here, and that's because we're starting to feel travel burnout. That's right, we got a little case of travel burnout, and instead of making a video about adventures, we figured let's talk to you guys about travel burnout because it happens to everyone.
So why are we talking about this subject, travel burnout? Well, it's because we have been on a lot of adventures in a short amount of time for the past 3 moves. So we've had no downtime, and we've just been in vacation adventure mode for too long, and it has definitely caught up with us. So not only are we feeling travel burnout, but we've also all gotten sick this week. So I think our immune systems are done, we're done, we just needed a rest.
We needed a break, and we needed it bad. That's because our travels have been hectic for more than the last 3 weeks. In the last 34 days, we have moved 5 times and been to 5 different states. We had a great time, but in order to do that much, we were in vacation mode and not living mode. And when you travel full time, you can't go full vacation mode for very long because it'll always catch up to you.
Now, if you're like us, when we first got started with our full-time RV living, we really did think that every day and every week was a full-time vacation. Full-time RV living equaled full-time vacation mode. So our first year out, we actually learned this the hard way. We went too hard for too long, and it caught up with us. So we always try to balance living with adventuring, because when we don't, we end up paying for it.
We do end up paying for it, and we have paid for it every single year that we have traveled full time. Every year we've had a moment where the burnout caught up to us. This year we actually prepared for it twice. We actually thought, because of our travel plans and our goals this year, we were trying to do too much in too little time. We saw 20 states in 10 months. That's because we had a goal. We wanted to get to Maine, and we need to get back home from Maine before winter shows up. So there's a lot of ground to cover. We actually thought we would feel the burnout before we got to Maine this year. When we were in Connecticut, Rhode Island, and Massachusetts, we were on the move a lot, covering a lot of ground. There was just one thing that kept us from being burnt out: the rain. Because it rained so much, we didn't get to do as much as we would normally do, so that slowed us down enough to never have the burnout creep up on us. So what's different about now and earlier in the year when we thought we'd get burnout? Well, there's no more rain. We were in a whole bunch of states that had amazing weather, and we were out enjoying it all. We did a little bit too much, it caught up to us, and here we are in Indianapolis, Indiana, doing absolutely nothing for 14 days in a row.
So each year when we make our travel plans, we have different goals and different destinations, all the things we want to do. We try to have those planned out so that we have enough time in each city that we visit. We also have to consider that our family has been constantly changing since we started full-time RV life. When we started, our babies were very young, and we only had 2. In fact, one wasn't even walking yet. So we went from 1 walking baby to 2 walking babies to now, on our 3rd trip out, we are up to 3 walking babies. So our needs are constantly changing. With those constant changes and needs, we made sure this year that we were gonna book a little bit longer stays at each place because we do have a lot going on. We're very aware of that. Travel burnout comes down to when we book multiple 7-day stays in a row. 7-day stays really aren't 7-day stays. You have the day that you have to prepare for travel, for your travel days to get to your next destination. So that eats up a lot of time because you're packing, getting things ready to go, trying to go to bed early so that you have a great travel day. And then the day that you actually travel, it's a pretty full day because you're covering some distance, you're taking time for travel. And then whenever you get to your new site, you've got to get set up, You probably go grocery shopping, do all the things. So your 7-day stay quickly turns into a 5-day stay. And when you're trying to combine a ton of adventures, because you're in all these epic places, into 5 days, it quickly eats up all the time and things start spiraling out of control very quickly.
You might be asking yourself, how could things be possibly spiraling out of control while you're out enjoying all these awesome things? Now, if we're using all of our time for all these epic adventures, that means we have to take time away from something else. And for me, the first thing that time gets taken away from is maintenance. Now, it's never big things, but there's a lot of little things I start neglecting whenever we start staying very short stays. Number one, greasing the wet bolts. I religiously grease my wet bolts before every move. When we start moving a lot, I might go 1 or 2 or sometimes 3 moves and I haven't crawled under there and greased anything. Flushing and dumping the tanks. I always flush and dump the tanks. The one time I didn't, I got a poo pyramid. Well, guess what? We're on week 3 now where I haven't flushed and dumped the tanks. Well, I dumped them. I'm just not flushing them. It's because we don't have any time for that because we're out enjoying the adventures. I make all the scheduling for our adventures. Here lately, I have no idea what we are planning on doing when we get where we're going, because I haven't had a chance to plan ahead. And then there is the YouTube side of things. So normally I film adventures as they happen, they get edited, and you guys get to enjoy them. Well, what happens when we start moving too much is I might film 2, 3, 4 adventures, and then when I'm supposed to be editing, we're actually moving. Well, we film every move day, so we film another video. And then when we get to our new place, we're really excited to go see what there is to do there, so we start filming the next adventures. Meanwhile, we haven't started editing the adventures we filmed from the last week. So when it's all said and done, like right now as you guys are watching this, we have filmed maybe 7 or 8 videos, and none of them have been made yet. I am constantly trying to catch up to you guys on where I am today versus what you guys are seeing on YouTube. And then there's all the things in your personal life that start to get neglected. Like me and Alicia haven't been working out like we said we were going to. I haven't been taking care of the truck like I want to. Normally I clean it after every move. Lately, I'm going 2 or 3 weeks without cleaning the truck, and I don't normally do that. So it's all the little things that start to take a back seat whenever you start adventuring like that. Now, we knew this was gonna happen, but this is probably the biggest burnout we've ever felt, because this is the biggest adventure we've ever been on.
So our family structure also takes a hit when we experience burnout. When we're tired, we don't want to prepare food at home. We want to go for those convenient options, go out to eat, go do all the things that make our life at home just a little bit easier. But in turn, we start packing on a few extra pounds. We stop moving our bodies. Now, we are walking and doing things while we're out on adventures, maybe going on a hike, things like that. But that doesn't negate the fact that we normally are moving our bodies, getting our steps in, things like that. When we're in burnout mode, none of that happens. If you've been with us, you know we're not early to bed. So our late nights, where we normally would go to bed at about 11 o'clock, maybe midnight if we were pushing it, has turned into sometimes 2 o'clock in the morning or 3 o'clock, sometimes later. Because when you're getting home so late, you still have to do baths, you still have to have downtime, get the kids ready to go to sleep, and that all takes time. So we've had some very late nights, and then we usually have to follow that up with a very early morning because we need to get to the next adventure. So the other part of the equation is when we stop moving our body, we stop eating healthy, we stop having a schedule and taking care of ourselves, taking time for ourselves, we all get a little short-tempered with each other. So whether it's Kevin and I starting to notice that we're bickering, or the children having little outbursts and things like that, we always tie it back to everyone's just tired. We need a rest. One of 2 things happens. We either rest or we get sick and are forced to rest.
So what can we learn from burnout? Well, we're not going to keep beating this horse to death, but burnout is a very valuable tool if you take what it's telling you and use it. For us, burnout lets us know where we're capable as a family in terms of travel, what the pace is, how long we can stay, what we need to try to accomplish when we're there. Now, our goals from our first year to our third year are nowhere near the same. Our first year, we could do a whole lot. Our third year, we've had to adjust for our adjusting family on what we can try to accomplish with our time. Now, the same thing can be said about slowing down too much, because the opposite of burnout happens to us as well. So we'll take this burnout and we'll learn from it. We know, and we've always known, that we don't like to do multiple 7-day stays in a row. And every year we seem to find ourselves in a situation because of a goal we're trying to accomplish where we have multiple 7 days in a row. I'm pretty sure after our third year of finding out that 7 days don't work for us, I will most likely try to go out of my way to make sure that next year we don't have any more than a single week at a time. There's never multiple 7-day stays in a row. We could do one. I just don't think we should try to do 2 or 3 in a row anymore, because we've learned it just doesn't work for us and the way we like to travel and all the things that we're trying to do. We're in an area. I actually think our preferred pace of travel is 10 to 14 day stays. And right now I'm leaning towards 14-day stays because it gives you so much extra time and flexibility when planning your trips, and it helps with keeping your camping rates a little lower because you're staying 2 weeks instead of just a week or 10 days. Another big thing to consider is that we travel in seasons. Yes, we live full time. We don't actually have a home base to go home to. We have a home base. It's our family and friends, but we don't actually have a place that we can unpack from and go to our own home and take a break. But we do take a break every single year. We go home for Christmas, we kind of unpack the RV, we purge everything, and we start over. And during this time, we kind of get a break from adventuring, and this is when the restlessness starts to happen, because we go into a let's prepare for next year's plans. We start making our travel arrangements, we start doing upgrades and maintenance to the RV to make sure that we're good to go on our trip, and we spend a whole lot of time hanging out with friends and family and away from the RV. So by the time we get done with the holidays, we are back in exciting mode, ready to hit the road. And sometimes that translates into our travel plans, because sometimes when I'm making plans, I'm at home and I'm feeling excited about the adventure, and I will start planning things back to back to back because it seems like it'll be easy to do, and it is easy to do in the beginning. But we know from our past experiences that if you do it too much, it will cause you to have to take a week like this week where you do absolutely nothing at all.
All right, so we are interested to know, are we the only ones that experience burnout, or do you experience it too? Or maybe you're on the other end of the spectrum. Maybe you park your RV for an extended period of time and you start feeling that restlessness and that need to travel. Or if you're not RVing yet, is it anything that you've ever considered? Or were you naive like us and thinking that full-time RV life equals full-time vacation mode? Let us know in the comments. We'd be interested to know. You'd think after 3 years we would adjust our schedules and learn how to fix this, but inevitably it always happens because there's just too much cool things to see.
Thanks for hanging out with us in this video, and let us talk to you about something that seems to happen to us every single year. And it's a lesson that we just can't seem to learn. But we're feeling pretty rested and we're pretty relaxed now, and the show must go on. So stay tuned as we take you on our next adventure soon. We love you. See you in the next one.